On the night of April 14, 1912, the RMS Titanic, the largest moving object ever created by man, vanished into the icy depths of the North Atlantic. For more than 100 years, the story has been told as a simple, tragic fight, the world's most advanced ship against one single monstrous iceberg. But that's not the whole story. It's not even the most important part. The Titanic wasn't just a victim of bad luck. It was the victim of at least 6 ignored warnings, a trail of messages that painted a crystal-clear picture of the ice-choked waters lying directly in its path. This is the real story of the critical messages that were brushed aside, the operators who got them, and the chain of human errors that turned a preventable close call into one of history's greatest maritime disasters. The Unsinkable Dream, when the Titanic steamed out of Southampton on April 10, 1912, it was more than a ship. It was a symbol of the era. It stood for the very peak of human achievement, luxury, and technological hubris. On board were an estimated 2,224 people, from some of the world's wealthiest industrialists to poor immigrants hoping for a new life. All of them were united in the belief they were sailing on an unsinkable marvel. Its captain, Edward Smith, was one of the most respected in the world. He'd said it himself. He couldn't imagine any condition which would cause a ship to founder. Modern shipbuilding has gone beyond that. This supreme confidence was obvious in the ship's speed. Even though it was her maiden voyage, the Titanic was pushed to nearly her top speed, racing at a blistering 22 knots through the frigid Atlantic. There was a schedule to keep and a reputation to build. But as the magnificent liner sliced through the waves, a series of invisible warnings began to race ahead, messages that, if anyone had truly listened, would have rewritten history. The trail of warnings. The danger didn't just pop up out of the dark. All day on Sunday, April 14th, the airwaves were buzzing with talk of ice. The North Atlantic was in the grip of one of the worst ice seasons in 50 years. Warning number 1. The Caronia. The day started with the first clear alert. At 9 a.m., the RMS Caronia sent a message to the Titanic reporting bergs, growlers, and field ice. The message was received and acknowledged by Captain Smith himself, but the ship's breakneck pace didn't change. In the culture of the time, ice warnings were often seen as simple advisories, not urgent alarms. Warning number 2. The Baltic. Just a few hours later, at 1:42 p.m., a much more serious warning came from the RMS Baltic. It relayed a report of passing icebergs and large quantities of field ice directly in the Titanic's projected path. This one was serious enough that Captain Smith showed it to J. Bruce Ismay, the chairman of the White Star Line, who was along for the ride. Ismay, supposedly eager to set a new speed record, simply pocketed the message. The ship steamed on. The course was nudged slightly south, but the speed wasn't touched. Warning number 3. The Amerika. At 1:45 p.m., a third ship, the German liner Amerika, reported passing 2 large icebergs. This message was a crucial piece of the puzzle, pinpointing the southern edge of the ice field. But it never made it to the bridge. The Titanic's 2 radio operators, Jack Phillips and Harold Bride, actually worked for the Marconi Company, not the ship's crew. Their main job was to handle the profitable stream of passenger telegrams. Because the Amerika's warning wasn't addressed directly to Titanic's captain, it was filed away to be passed on later and then forgotten. Warning number 4. The Californian. At 7:30 p.m., the SS Californian, a ship that would soon play a haunting part in this story, radioed to say it had seen 3 large bergs. Junior operator Harold Bride delivered this message to the bridge, but with Captain Smith at a dinner party, it didn't trigger any urgent action. The ship was now just 50 miles from the ice. Both the air and water temperature were dropping fast, a classic sign that icebergs were near. Warning number 5. The Mesaba. Then, at 9:40 p.m., came the most critical warning of all. The steamship Mesaba sent a message that wasn't just a general heads-up. It was precise and damning. It read, saw much heavy pack ice and great number large icebergs. Also field ice. It described a massive ice field stretching for miles, located directly in Titanic's path. Senior radio operator Jack Phillips got the message. But the ship's radio had broken down the day before, and Phillips was buried, trying to clear a huge backlog of passenger messages with the powerful relay station at Cape Race, Newfoundland. He understood the words, but missed the urgency. He set the message aside under a paperweight, a problem for later. That single piece of paper, holding the exact coordinates of the disaster to come, never left the radio room. Warning number 6, the final shut up. Around 11 p.m., the very last chance to save the Titanic arrived with an angry spark. The SS Californian had stopped for the night, completely trapped by the same ice field the Mesaba had warned about. Its radio operator, Cyril Evans, sent a casual, friendly message to any ship nearby. Being so close, his signal was deafeningly loud in Jack Phillips's headphones. Evans tried to warn him. "I say, old man, we are stopped and surrounded by ice." Phillips, stressed and struggling to hear the faint signals from Cape Race, was furious at the interruption. He cut Evans off with a reply that would become infamous. Shut up, I am busy. I am working Cape Race." Rejected and feeling he'd done his duty, a dejected Cyril Evans switched off his radio just after 11:30 p.m. and went to bed. The Titanic was now alone, deaf and blind to the danger just minutes away. The collision course, on the bridge and in the crow's nest, the crew was now up against impossible odds. The night was eerily calm and moonless. Without waves breaking at the base of an iceberg, spotting one was nearly impossible. Making matters worse, the binoculars for the lookouts were missing, the result of a last-minute crew shuffle before the ship even left port. At 11:39 p.m., lookout Frederick Fleet saw it, a dark shape on the horizon that blotted out the stars. He rang the warning bell 3 times and phoned the bridge, yelling the chilling words, "Iceberg, right ahead." First Officer William Murdoch had only 37 seconds to react. He gave the order, "Hard a starboard," a command to turn the ship left and for the engines to be thrown into reverse. But the Titanic was just too big and moving too fast. It couldn't turn in time. At 11:40 p.m., instead of a direct crash, the ship suffered a glancing blow. The iceberg scraped along the starboard side, popping rivets and buckling the hull plates for nearly 300 feet. The damage tore open 6 of the ship's 16 supposedly watertight compartments. The ship's designer, Thomas Andrews, instantly knew the fatal math. The Titanic could float with 4 compartments flooded, but never 6. He gave the ship an hour, maybe 2, before it would sink. The unsinkable ship was doomed. Aftermath and lessons. As the Titanic began its final terrible plunge, the distress calls finally crackled to life. The nearby Carpathia heard the SOS and steamed at full power through the same treacherous ice field to help, but it was almost 4 hours away. The closest ship, the Californian, sat just miles away, its radio now silent. Its crew saw the Titanic's distress rockets, but without confirmation by radio, the captain assumed they were just company fireworks and did nothing. When the Titanic sank at 2:20 a.m., it took more than 1,500 people with it. The investigations that followed in Amerika and Britain laid bare the shocking cascade of failures. It wasn't just an iceberg. It was a total system failure. Radio rules were a mess. Warnings were treated as less important than passenger convenience. And a deep-seated arrogance blinded the crew to the clear and present danger. The story of the Titanic is a chilling reminder of how small oversights can lead to unimaginable disaster. If you found this story of missed chances compelling, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more dives into history. We have to ask, which warning do you think was the most critical failure? The sinking of the Titanic forced sweeping changes in maritime safety that are still in effect today. The first international convention for the safety of life at sea was called mandating 24-hour radio watches, standard distress signals, and critically enough lifeboats for every single person on board. The International Ice Patrol was created to track the very same threat that was so carelessly ignored. The disaster stands as an eternal lesson on the dangers of overconfidence and the life-or-death importance of communication. It's the story of a magnificent ship lost, not just to a block of ice, but to the simple human failure to listen to a warning and the devastating finality of being told to shut up.